Peace, peace, peace. This is your boy Juice Winner. Oh, y'all gritty. And this is politics as usual. Wow. All right. So in the background, you see I got some pictures flowing here. And so this is how not to become a Freemasonic tool. So on here, I'm gonna show you, right, how not to become a Freemasonic or Freemason's tool. All right. Even those who go in to join Freemasonry are usually the first tools. The first tools are the ones who walk into the toolbox under the assumption that they will be the ones wielding the tools. You know? Well, most likely, if they didn't approach you, you're not built for that, right? And most likely, they did approach you because you were built to be used as a tool, right? Let me take this down, bro. Hold on. All right, put that up real quick. Now, as you see in the background, I got my, you know, my American flag because I am American. You know, I tell people now, I'm a black Republican Lives Matter member. So when you see the BLM on the flag, it's not to have a problem with the flag, it's just saying, you know, hey, I'm black and I'm here too. But don't try to exit me out of this just because I claim that I'm black. Pardon me one second. Had to grab my other keyboard. You can see this is my travel keyboard, my remote keyboard. Well, like to keep that over here. I don't know. I just don't like going through the touching the keyboard. It's like I got the mic and all of that. Too much to go through. You know what I mean? So I usually just keep it on the side. Now we're about to get into this because yesterday, I was doing the show about who is ADOS. Now, in this information right here are ADOS, right? So, as I was breaking that down, it was at the end. It was like a long show, like 3 hours and going and change. So, I already knew nobody or no, I don't really plan to have anybody seeing it. Most people's attention spans are short. So, I'm really here, doing this with the hopes that I reach the immediate people, like as this on. I truly don't see people, you know, um, going through this information and truly understand what is being offered. Because it'll come in these different titles, but I'm always giving you how they are utilizing this against you. So in each one of them, it's still the same thing. It's just broader understandings. So right here, we're gonna get into, rituals and ciphers, aka spells, right? And so I'm gonna give you it, then I'm gonna give you this breakdown and on how they utilize it within our community as a weapon. Right? Well, let's slide over here. Hold on, let me pull up some informations. All right. Pardon me. Pardon me. All right. Where we going? We don't need the Duncans yet. One. Or your arts degree and a brand affiliation. Okay. Let's get into it from here. All right. Go down here. We're going to leave the American Colony Society alone for a second. But that's what I was covering. Okay. So we're going to go into this guy right here by Art de Hoyas, 32-degree Mason. All right. So we got him up. Let's get into this. I'm blowing on some lava cake. You know, this is that lava cake right here. All right. First, let's get into where the question is. Where do Prince Hall affiliation rituals come from? This question has often been asked to me by Masons who are aware of my interest in tracing ritual origins and development. Right? So, this fellow, like myself, is a historian for one, right? And he traces the origins of the rituals, because the rituals change over time. You understand what I'm saying? They change over time. Because the rituals is how you shift the people. All right. So, and I'm going to get into what I mean. You know what a ritual is, right? A routine. All right. Hold on. Let me go right here. Let's hold on. All right. Go on to search. All right. A religious or solemn ceremony consisting of a series of actions performed according to a prescribed order. So, when they tell you that Freemasonry is not a religion, but it is, it is. All religions are in the same fashion, basically a device used to shift the people. So these rituals change and passed out when the shift is happening. So when they got certain agendas and stuff, those stuff get updated and put out within the people. And I'll get into that. Some speculate that Prince or Masonry wrote Prince or Masonry wrote its own rituals. Others suggest that rituals exposes are a source. Still others conjure that copies of rituals were discovered by Prince or Masons, and yet others believe that the sympathetic mainline Masons lent their support, if not copies of the rituals. The bodies in question, all of the above answers are wait, it goes my fault, because I skipped some lines. They believe the sympathetic mainline lent their support, if not copied the rituals themselves. Which, if any, of these views is correct? The surprising answer is that depending. All right, so let's get back over here real quick. Right? So, first understand, what speculation is. Speculation is what apparently like 70% out of the population works off of. Speculation. And I'm going to get into that. I just wanted to put that in there. As a matter of fact, let me, highlight this, because this is actually a major part of, Freemasonry, whether you believe it or not. Speculative and operative Masons. So, you got speculative, those who speculate, and then the operative, right? Those who's actually putting in the work. Wrote its own rituals. Others, boom, boom, suggest that the rituals, like, so then we got down to here. Depending on the body in question, all of the above answers are correct. Right? So you see right here, right? The body in question, all of the above answers are correct. Because if you know anything about Masonry, right, it's evolving. So you are supposed to redesign and take forward a system to where it's your own. So you develop in this system, where it's still connected to the overall premise. And that's how you can, appeal to start your own lodge and all of that, because you situated yourself in designing these rituals, right? Where it speaks to those people while, because remember, it's double talk. So it's the ability to speak to a group of people while giving this message over here. So it's two conversations. It's the people that know the message over here so they can communicate with each other and have a conversation. Now, inside their conversation is what we'll be getting into on how this all works, because this is, the spell. So you have a ritual and you have ciphers or spells. You call the cipher, but it's still the same thing, right? And I did the videos on ciphers, so that shouldn't be hard for people to go look up. So this is just a insight, because those are the things I put out there in these sections. So now when I get into them, they can make sense. Because I just explained ciphers. I didn't explain its overall use. So here we go. It is generally known that the Grand Lodge of Missouri. Now, this is very important. The whole Missouri, Grand Lodge. Because even if, hold on, let me see. All right, I'm gonna show you something here. Because I told you the whole last season of Fargo, right? Fargo season 4, right? So we over here. This is the final season? Yeah, this should be the final season. Yes. Okay. So we got Fargo season 4, right? Fargo season 4. We got Chris Rock, right? So remember, we're talking about the Black Freemason. This is why it's, easy to explain within, this show, because Chris Rock is like the main person, right? So, Lloyd Connor is a leader of an African American crime syndicate, right? As well as a businessman trying to get his new idea, the credit card, off the ground, right? So, inside of this story, right, you're gonna go into, you know, right here. Kansas City, Missouri. Ah. Then what else do we have there? What? The bosses of the Jewish crime organization. Then you have the Irish gangs, right? And so this right here is a whole Masonic script. You wouldn't doubt it until I keep going. But these are why I tell people certain shows, like, yeah, it's just clear as day. That whole show is a Masonic script. And I said, Chris Rock, that was the second time I know Chris Rock to do it, because he also was a part of the Witches. And the Witches were doing the same thing as well, right? And what is it? The black lady stand up sketch comedy. Well, them too. It's all connected to this right here. So, I'm just putting this there to show you. Remember, I always mention Fargo to you. And I said season 4 Fargo. If you go back, this is one of the shows, that I always use as a clear reference. Like, if other things, I would have to sit down there and really break down. I mean, I could literally stop and pause as I go through the show and break the whole damn thing down to you. That's how it's over there when it comes to Fargo season 4. And explaining, you know, Freemasonry. So let's go over here again. We're going back inside here. Because remember, where did I say? All right. Leave. Okay. Right. It is generally known that the Grand Lodge of Missouri uses Duncan rituals. And this is why when you look at Fargo, pardon me, when you look at Fargo season 4, those are the Duncan rituals. If you know the Duncan rituals and you know season 4's Fargo, you would know that that's the Duncan rituals. And why is that important? Spells. Remember, it's rituals and spells. So these rituals that you see are embedded within your mind. So when the spells are enacted, triggered, to your mind comes the message. Because in the spell is attached what you are conjuring. So if you are, I was gonna see if should I give you the example now or should I wait? Right. So I'll give you an example now. Right. So you watching the show, and in this show, there's a routine that is common. That's this universal script, right? That you identify with in your everyday life, right? Universally, right? So that's the ritual, your routine. Now, in that is the spell. The spell was passed around through the tools, the us, everyday people, right? Those who get into those Masonic lodges are given it. So then they go out and just free, not knowing, they become the beacons, the voice of. So then when you have TV shows or movies, remember it's already been embedded inside you. So one part was out in the community, and the other one is based on what you visualize. So the things that's in there, the things you hear are the triggers. So this is why he's making the statement of being able to get these rituals, but knowing and how to identify which rituals they are. Right? So in monitors, and this is back in 1866, right? As its official ritual, while the Grand Lodge of Ohio, right, uses a ritual similar to its mainline counterparts, right? And then you got again Ohio Prince Hall Grand Lodge chapter of the Royal Arch Degree, right? So you have the Blue Lodge, right? Then you have the Red Lodge or the Scarlet Lodge, which is the Royal Arch Degree, right? And so you have like the first three then you have like the next four, I believe it would be. Yeah, because they'll tell you that, it's a con. But anyway, um, rituals similar to its mainline counterparts, right? Employ an early version of its mainline. Where we at? Mainline counterpart again. Employ its early version of the mainline rituals, while its Grand Lodge Council, Royal, and Select Masters, right? Then you got use a cipher ritual once popular among mainline bodies, right? So ciphers, right? So let's get into what we are listening to, okay? Pardon me here. Um, let's get into what we are listening to. Let me bring this up over here. Okay, right on Instagram. Hold on. What are we dealing with? Yeah. Pardon me. I'm whole bunch of information. Okay, so we could use this one right here for now. All right. Supreme 120 lesson, right? Would be a cipher ritual, right? So, what are we saying here, right? Use a cipher ritual once popular amongst mainline bodies, right? And so we got this is the ancient Egyptian Arabic order of noble mystic shrines, you know, or the acronyms Prince Hall Shrine Rituals is an example of an auxiliary ritual which was copied from an earlier expo, differing materially from the current mainline counterpart. So, I was explaining yesterday that even when you remember, or anybody who knows about Masonic Bibles, how they had the Egyptian part inside there. Before we get into that, let me explain before you understand what Freemasonry acts like it's offering. You might not understand what Freemasonry seems to offer. Okay? To an individual, Freemasonry offers the ability to be underhanded, meaning you can have a conversation while the next person is having a totally different conversation. So if I'm saying 49311, I'm having a conversation with somebody who knows. So say somebody goes, so what's the code? Right? And me and somebody over here laughing and we go, yeah, it's 49311. So, like say you get it like you had the cops there and they trying to ask the number to the safe, right? And you and your boys are there, right? And so what 49311 mean, right? You know that those numbers refer to letters and those letters spell out something, right? So basically it's the ability to give these numbers, and to the cop, he's gonna be like 49311, while to your homeboys, you saying, yo, get the dick or whatever. And so he's laughing with you because you are able to hold the conversation, right? That's saying something that the next individual doesn't understand. So it's like pig Latin on steroids. But so then, to the individual who's offered such a device, of course he would take it, right? About to take a break in a minute. Of course he would take it. Who would not? So mostly it's offered to the most scrupulous person, right? So think about that. that the offering of that. So my question always, whenever, especially I see kids who do that, I usually want to know who taught them that, because my concern is what did they need them to keep secret? You understand what I'm saying? What did they need? The information that they need to have hold that they needed to keep secret. Because although they'll tell you that a Mason, is at this age as if they're being indoctrinated like at this age for this, but then they also tell you they got junior Masons and all of those. So, right? Understand that you're being indoctrinated into something that you thinking that you were getting over, while actually you are putting yourself in a bind. You understand what I'm saying? You are putting yourself in a bind. So, let's see here. Roy U. Watch employee, right? So, we in the ancient order. Now, the reason why I'm saying this, because I explain to people all the time. Hold on one second. Oh, I was already here. All right, let's go into. All right, arrested in Russia. Why was she arrested in Russia? WNBA Brittany Greener arrested in Russia on drug charges. Wrong place to catch a drug charge. Wrong time too. Damn. Okay. What was I looking for again? Oh, Moorish Science Temple. Images. All right. Okay. Moorish Americans, right? Same difference. So, when you see these people, right? These are the Moorish Americans. We're not blacks, right? So yesterday I was showing you what this system, was under, right? So these are the facilitators of this, right? Just understand that. All right. So we're going to slide down. See their little symbols, right? Boom. Right. So they don't got a problem bumping off anybody, who was not conforming to this system, right? You was expendable. That's it. You was expendable. I want you to see this, right? Because this is the conversation that we're having due to the fact that you do your information, go research, Morris Science Temple, and you will understand, Morris Science Americans, right? And you see Morris Science, and they have their ruler and square. These are the Prince Halls. Because these are the rituals and all the things that you use to put these people under the spell. You give them rituals, routines, hats, right? Do it this way. You put them in a routine, a ritual, right? And so from that, this organization gave birth to the Nation of Islam. The Nation of Islam then again gave birth to 5% Nation. While York was down with this same movement, like I said, they have different ways of approaching the same thing. Right? So, hold on. Where is. Right? Nation. Let's there we go right here. All right. So once again, we have Dr. Malachi Z. York. You see his hat, his what's the name right here with the Masonic symbol. You see his buddy right there with the Masonic symbol, right? So you see them over here with the Masonic symbol. So to think that these people weren't all under the same system, you'd be a fool. They are being led, not just this one organization, they're all under the same thing. So once they leaving out their house, new indoctrinations are happening. So whether it be Bloods or even inside those, once they go to jail or whatever, then, they find Islam or Christianity, and, you know, now they back to, the not sinning and leaving that device alone. But in the meantime, all of the chaos and mayhem ensues. You know? So we going over here. So like I said, I'm just giving you the names of stuff. You could go look them up. The Ancient Arabic Order of Noble. Listen to the names. And you can understand. But we're going to get into what I was saying about education and relying on people to have lack of comprehension skills. right? Let me show you something real quick about this comprehension thing here, right? Um, boom, boom. Pardon me. Let's go over here. Alright. Go here. Oh, okay. So, hold on. I got a few different things. I want to make sure. Okay, we just do this, right? One method of evaluating comprehension and language growth consists of analyzing the oral or written answers to questions about stories read to or by students about visual representation, right? So it goes It goes, how to analyze or assess comprehension. Students who have good and adequate language comprehension and good or adequate decoding, right? Because to be able to decode what you are reading is the most vital thing. When I point out the articles, I'm pointing out how these words are used in a way that speaks volumes. Like it could be one or two catchwords, and it's saying so much more because it's connected to a whole different other series of events. So a person can read through something and not understand what they are reading. And that's how the Moors catch you. The Moors are the number one at catching you at not knowing the English language. And I don't mean sitting there and having to go through a dictionary because that's how they got you. They got you thinking, oh yeah, and then you see right here in the Webster's dictionary from 1653, and that's how they got you. They got you with the double talk and all of that rambling because they already know you don't comprehend that. And so they'll keep bombarding you with stupidity with the hopes that you came from a system that didn't teach you, which was most likely the Christian system. You can't point a motherfucker who know about the Bible. Not one person I had a conversation with can actually hold a conversation with me about the Bible. Not one. That's real talk. Not one of them can hold a conversation with me. So then I know that they're using a system based on ignorance, based on not having true comprehension, but what is given to you. The same way the Bible, the parents gave to you just the parts that's valuable when you hit the streets. Hey, can I talk to you? And they're giving you what's valuable to them. The pastor, because they know you never read the book. Hell, outside of the pastor, none of them read the book. Outside of the pastor, you can almost guarantee none of them read that book. have no understanding of that damn book. They know what is told. Doesn't it say right here? And if you go right here, and if you go right there, the whole time they telling you what that means. They'll point out this little part, but the whole time they telling you what that means. So they know you lack comprehension. Because if you comprehended, you would stop them and read the shit yourself. Like, hold on a minute. But it also says yada, yada, yada. You're saying it says this, I agree, but that's not what the whole gist of that statement is. You took that, you hopped over here, showed me another verse, you hopped over there and showed me another scripture. That's all you dictating that. I cannot argue that those words are there, but I could argue whether or not they are used in the same fashion. So then I couldn't avoid somebody hitting me with it's contradicting itself. No, it's contradicting because the person who offered them to me, those scriptures, only offered it to me on the beneficial side of them. Because if they didn't, they wouldn't have to ask to talk to me. Can I talk to you about? I'm like, I read the Bible. I know what all of that means. So you can't hit me with the nonsense. But because people were put in a spell, a trance, they could utilize that off of them. And then that goes into so many different fields. So within the black community, there's a system set up of we're going to pull him in under a banner. Right now it's black, African American, or melanated, or, whatever. We're going to put him under that banner. Those are rituals, right? And inside of that, we have the triggers. Because in the the African American or black, whatever you want to call, the Prince Hall Masons, right? Whatever you want to call them, they're controlling that narrative, that title. And as long as you fit in it, and you could be a part of the resistance, nobody is going to go right away. That's how it works. They need you to be resistant. That's what's going to give it the voice, because you have pushback. You're going to see the wilding, the shootings in some parts, and all of this is going to take place in order to push the agenda. So, when we go here, and we're talking about, this ancient Arabic, they still were given this, right? So, what of the Prince Hall Scottish Rite? And oft encountered story maintained that Albert Pike shared his rituals with Prince Hall Masons on January 16th, right, 1945. Willard Allen, 33rd Sovereign Grand Commander of the United Supreme Council. See, look this up and you can actually find out about them, right? And then that'll give you insight into them. Wrote this to George Crawford, Lieutenant, boom, boom. He explained that Thorns A. Jackson photo, sovereign Grand Commander, United Supreme Council from 1887 to 1904, was a personal friend of Albert Pike. After Jackson mentioned to Pike how seriously hand handicapped the Prince Hall bodies were for a lack of adequate rituals, Pike is said to have given him an autograph complete set of Scottish Rite rituals. The rituals were passed to Jackson's successors and eventually came into the hands of Robert Pendleton, who was a sovereign Grand Master, Grand Commander from 1911 to 1929. So, if you want to find the people who's responsible for these acts, you have your records, you know, of who did it. But it ain't gonna make a difference. Like I said, this information is really for the next generation. It's not for anybody, definitely in my age group. You know, like I just feel it's too late for them because I grew up around them the whole time explaining all of this. So, you know what I mean? Like, imagine you like 20 and you trying to explain to 20-year-olds, 21, 22, 23, 20, and the whole time, that's where their focus is at. Right? So, this is, let me bring this down. All right, so this is where we at here. We on the next one. All right, let's go into proving that the lessons was passed down through this system, right? And you can also provide a people to appear and disappear, right? So you set up this holy mystical situation. You know what I mean? This system set up on pure mysticism, right? Pure mysticism. And then, you got the person who brings this information, but then he disappears and nobody could tell you his birth and, pardon me, and these things. So if you were not aware how, a new system was being set up, okay, right? And you would be thinking, yo, but that's good. Sure. But it's really still under a difference. So it's like triple talk. You got double talk, you got triple talk. Some people coming under the banner of sold my price to the devil and sold my soul to the devil and the price was cheap. To work within this system, You don't understand. The minute you even pick up the lessons, you are being indoctrinated into a system. Now, that system, I'm going to show you, we could go through this for now, but after the break, I'm going to show you how that system works. And you're going to see. Just six, wait, he'll go. Pike's rituals were said to have revived and printed, had been revived and printed by the original Pike set, but the original Pike set unfortunately disappeared following Pendleton's death. At the end of his letter, Allen noted the important fact, however, is that Pike did give Jackson a complete set of Scottish Rite rituals. Incidentally, it is not necessary to remind you of what particularly all Masonic scholars know very well, that in the closing years of General Pike's Masonic career, he became very staunch friends with Negro Masonry. Now, I might have said, that one word, staunch or wrong, but all right, all right. So, all right. So, on January 22nd, 1945, just 6 days after the above letter, a delegation of officers from Supreme Court Council 33, right, and the United Supreme Council 33, New Jersey. Wait, the first one was okay, that was I think New Mexico. I don't know, I'm not sure. Um anyway, met met at the Temple in New York, right? On this meeting, Melvin Johnson, Sovereign Grand Commander, noted that a study of the rituals used by the United Supreme Council Prince Hall affiliation for the Northern jurisdiction and other evidence which has been furnished um us demonstrations beyond a reasonable doubt that it is rituals are authentic in all recognized rituals of the ancient and accepted Scottish rite. So then we go into Hiram. That I told you, the hero, Hiram, you know. I made the video of the Haroons, with the burial. So you got to understand this history. This is, a mentioning is double talk, right? Okay. I am inclined to accept the story that Albie Pike shared his rituals with Prince Hall Freemasonry, although the original rituals presented by Pike to Jackson are presently lost. They were retro set, retype set, and published in as set of 5 volumes entitled The Hiram. You can get that book actually. The Library of the Supreme Council, copy of The Hiram Book 5, which contains the 31st and 32nd degree of the United Supreme Council. Where we at. The volumes was autographed and certified in July 1898 by Pike's friend. Pardon me here. I want you to hear what I'm here. I go through this all go through this all the goddamn time. All the goddamn time. This is what it is. Um Jackson's Secretary General. It can its contents were copied from Pike's rituals, though not the current one. Rather, the rituals are those of a cooperative effort written in 1857 with Charles, in New Orleans and published the following year. In addition to a ritual of degrees, the Hiram book has other materials that has been borrowed from Pike's writing. Right? According to William Allen's letter, the early Pike rituals printed in the Hiram were used until about 1920 when they were revived by the joint project of the Prince Hall Southern and Northern jurisdiction. From this, we may very likely infer that the rituals displayed neighbor in his, I don't know. You got to give people. You working on your stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like if I was a musician, you know what I mean, or whatever. I would want my. I mean, I am a musician, but not a musician as far as playing music. But I would want, my neighbors, whatever. So it seems strange, but I said, okay, it's the weekend, so maybe, you know. According to, Allen's letter, the early Pike rituals printed on Boom Boom Hiram were used until about 1920, where they were revived. Joint, okay. Yeah, so um, joint project, jurisdiction. this is rather difficult to account for. Unlike Prince Hall Association, the rituals used by the Supreme Council 33 differ substantially from each other. Why was this not noted by Melvin M. Johnson? So this is when, things started, the the chaos and the break inside our community. Think about this time frame, right? And then think about the collapse within our community, right? If the rituals displayed to the northern jurisdiction in 1945 was the then current Prince Hall working, it would have consisted of a set of 4 volumes separately entitled Book of the Scottish Rite. I have studied the first 3 volumes covering the fourth through the 33rd degree and find that they are copies of the secret directory 1867, a ritual collection adopted at the formation of the present Supreme Council 33. All of this really wouldn't make sense to you if you don't understand what is being said. So let me pull back, okay? Let me pull out of here. I wanted to wait till we went on the break, like give you this information, but I would hate to feel like it's it's not connected to some, right? So I want to give you connections. I hate talking and thinking that, because I know as I'm listening to things myself, at some point you'll be like, well, okay, I understand what ciphers are. I understand what rituals are, right? If I'm listening to me, I'm like, okay, I get it. You're saying, say like the 120s or whatever, this information is, your rituals, right? And so within that is your ciphers, right? How you communicate, right? And so both of them become one, right? So let me give you some insight, right, on what we're talking about in a more common way, right? So, like I said, once again, you have, right, this ritual. You put on these hats, you do these, you have this camaraderie, you're built into this system. That's your ritual, right? Now, in that ritual, the things that you say, the things that you do, right? You see the symbols. These things are implanted inside of people, right? Even their own members. So their own members are being indoctrinated into a new trance. So they thinking that they're getting over on, say me, right? Oh yeah, I'm doing this and he don't know, but I know, so I know the language and all of that, right? So for me, it doesn't work. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you even have I don't care. It's not my business. I know that, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter to me. Long as I can prove to them what I'm saying about you, it don't matter. You know what I mean? And you could chill, and you usually know that based on these repetitive words. Because in that, they are talking to that group of people. So you take um boom 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 see man action okay come in again, right? Come over here because if we going into the comprehension, all this is gonna make sense, right? Duncan rituals, right? Boom. So bunk, Royal Arts degree, and affiliation rituals come from. That's what we reading right now. Right. Okay. Perfect example. Now we're gonna use 120s, right? So, okay, here we go. We got nation, like we got the Nation of Islam lessons, right? Right. So you got Supreme Wisdom lessons by Master Farad Muhammad. I'm going to take a break. All right. So now we're going to get into words, right? See them with the book. Hold on. And if you know, this is, I told you, the number one way of control through the Freemason. Your lack of comprehension of what you are reading, right? And so that's how this works. I'm going to show you and when we come back. All right, take this break real quick. I'll take a break in like 10 seconds, so let me light up. Yeah. So, I made a video on how you make a god, right? So here go, the supreme lessons of Master Farad Muhammad to his servant, right? The most honorable Elijah Muhammad for the lost and found nation of Islam in North America, the supreme wisdom lessons originated by our Savior, Master Farad Muhammad, right? I, to the Muslims of number of Michigan, right? The following is the original rules of instructions to the laborers of Islam in the title of Muslim given to our Savior before his departure, with a footnote of a few words of explaining to lay pressure upon their minds of their many errors in the past and present, that they may see the light and walk through therein. I thank you, Elijah Muhammad. Instructions given to the laborers. Let me pull this up. I'm sorry, I didn't know realize you can see that. All right. So this is, you see him with the book. All right. not knowing what could be said to him right now. He's hearing these terms: laborer, worker, builder. You know what I mean? He's a laborer. He's not even in the craft. Like you know how you got just people running around. So like all of the yo, let's build, and you know what I mean. At first, those are your laborers. They don't, they starting out. They not in the craft though. They're using this terminology, but don't know what it is, right? To the Muslim of number one mission, it goes instructions to his laborer. By our Savior W.D. Farad. I, student, must study his assignment, lesson one. Each student should copy the answer of lessons of Master Elijah Muhammad and study until the student is able to memorize by heart all answers to in said lesson one. Note, here lesson one is said to be the student assignment. First, lesson one lay the base of our work today and give the student a clear knowledge of himself and his heavenly home and best part of earth, and who is the enemy of him and his nation, and why the enemy's righteous could not live together, and why the righteous able to cast out his enemies, that teach the student that he must do what the enemy of righteous do. The righteous nation is now. Living is part of the planet Earth. Therefore, every enemy must now be removed to in every part of the planet Earth. Why is stress made to Muslims to copy? The minister Elijah Muhammad answers. The past history shows that the Almighty Allah sends prophets and apostles for the people, guide and example through his right man relief. Boom, boom, boom. So you got 1, 2, right? You got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, right? So you got 13, right? So then you get those one part, like it's hard to explain. Like this is when you first walking in. So these are the things that you get in as an example for to put out to the people, right? So we got actual facts. Right now, all the reason why I'm pointing is that I'm looking for one action. I'm not gonna waste my time with all of this stuff, right? But it goes the Department of Supreme Wisdom Student Enrollment Rule of Islam. One, the original man is the Asiatic maker, the owner. Boom, boom, boom. So when we get all the way down to 10, you understand that each one of these could be the conversation. Now, any of this, trust me, white people know, so it's not like, oh, you tell it. No, and they gave it to you. Here's the catch. And this is how you know they gave it to you. They'll use terms like savage and um, you know, live in a jungle way. They're using these negative references to what they're saying they're building up. So even the people within, this is why you don't hold even the people within. I get it. They run in a hustle. Not them, but the people who gave it to them. They already had indoctrinated those people. So before I even know what I know, because I got it from the street, I was able to know it because I seen it from the street. I seen it on its like rawest primitive form. So I got to see all of that develop in all of these different organizations. What Nori said, go when God come home blood. The shift, a lot of the what's the names were coming out of the nation of Islam. I mean the 5% nation and going, that went to jail and was coming out blood. A new system that was working on, this indoctrination once again. Now it's rest in peace, OG Ty, and right. So then you get in these lessons, the you call it the real blood, fake blood, and all of this. So when you seen all of that stuff, most people would not know that those were the shifts. When you see it now with these youth, the unification of gangs that were supposedly having a beef, who is orchestrating that? So if you really want to know, you need to understand the facilitators. So while you looking at a group and you can go, they could be under the impression that they are the facilitators. Sure, I get it. You think that you are facilitating that. But you are facilitating it when it's not associated with certain things. When it's totally organic, that's when you know it does not come from there. That's when you gotta go get, the approval for it to be in the banner for you to get the triggers and all of the rest of it so that means that you could start a lodge. Like you could get a crew together, take what I'm saying, you know what I mean? And understand how to facilitate a squad. You gotta be at a higher level though. You can't be at a small level. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about in Freemasonry. I'm talking about within your structure to be able to organize, right? But here's the catch. Why go in that direction? Because you see what you gotta do and the price for it within the black community. There's only two ways. Either you teach the people indirectly to submit, or their sacrifice for forgoing the other route. And this is how you know the other route. Right? Let me go over here. Right? I tell people all the time, watch the feet. Right? That's one of the major signs of the laborers, like the people who's gonna go out there, right? And take this formation and be the pillar of that, right? So you see these images and you notice that that was one of the number one. I got that up there by accident. But that was one of the number one things that you would see, right? And there's a reason why I got Cappers there, because the Cappers is where the Crips basically came from. You wouldn't think that, right? But even check stories from what's my the brother name? Magnificent Seven. Now, mind you, he was young, so he wouldn't even have known, I'm hoping, you know, what was taking place. But it appears to me at some point he had some idea due to the fact that he was saying that, you know, he was like bring his brother in, he grabbed a shotgun and all of that. You know, it was like, I don't know, it was just something inside that conversation. And when Monster Cody was having a conversation about that same dialogue. This is on like Kev Mac. It's with Cutes and Monster Cody. That's what I liked about those, because it's giving you a grand insight on how things got started without you knowing. You know what I mean? They might not even know, so dudes might argue me. Like, all right, you don't know. You know what I mean? You don't know. So you were not aware that all of these systems was set up. And then you'll see the understanding of when they gave them different information, and that's when the chaos broke out. This, you understand what I'm saying? Broke out from that. But you got to remember, it's going to take some time before they realize they're not speaking the same language. And that's going to cause confusion because you were taught to memorize this verbatim. So if you're taught to memorize this verbatim and everybody within your circle can agree, say you go out someplace else with the understanding that this is how you supposed to say it. If I switch the words, the conflict ensues. So I wasn't just talking to you. I'm trying to explain to you how they put something within our community. Not saying everybody, I would hard to believe that all of us would choose to annihilate ourselves. You see what I'm saying? So we're not saying them in each and every individual, but to be indoctrinated, to have a ritual right now telling them you have a dress code, checking in. These are rituals. The spell, checking in, check in, op, op. But you know, it's easy because you act like nobody knows it's black op. So you trigger. You know what I mean? You trigger. So how do you combat this? You put this out there. You say, yo, listen. A lot of people have good intentions, all from all sides. I don't point a finger. I don't say, yo, this side, that side. You know what I mean? Outside of the facilitators. The facilitators, those who still remain within those groups. The facilitators. Those we don't fight, yo, ain't no fair ones out here, and those who led the whole system, you know, down. Pardon me, right? Those who, pardon me, put it on loop. Um, those who led the system, you know, through that. Oh, ain't no, you know, we'll discuss it when we get back. While we out here, we just gonna we that is placed in every hood, universal. That's what kept the conflict, giving that the voice. And if you notice, it was facilitated and utilized within our community, and that caused this. You see him with the stance right on 187. That's why. You know, this is why I say, you know, the whole triggers, rituals, because your ritual, remember what he said, is ritual getting up dressed like this. They tell you hip hop is a culture that becomes the chant. That just like saying Kanye West is a genius simply because he knows how to make music. And so then that took it to a whole different level of young kids, once again, not understanding the use of words. Anybody who know me know, right, that I take the use of words very seriously, right? Hold on a minute. Let me tell you, I never explained to people why, right? Growing up, right? What I said could depend on my life. seriously, I'm talking about from my mother, what I would say could determine my life. And I'm saying my first memory in history, right, is either one of, because it's like they both like this. I can't tell you which one I used to remember, but now of which one is my first actual memory kind of faded. But I used to remember real good, right? So now I'm not really sure which one, right? So let me give you what I mean. My first memory of one of the two that I'm gonna say is I remember spelling my name, and somewhere inside there I got it wrong, and it was on and popping. You understand what I'm saying? That's one, right? Then I remember almost damn near dying this time simply for reciting the alphabet, right? And LMNOP. No, QRX. The NTXY, X, Y, and Z. XYN. It's XYZ. Just that logic right there. What? It's XYZ. It's not XY and Z. We already had and. This was the type of bullshit. So, mind you, this is from your first memories on, a planet. So, I understood from that, because we know who's the facilitators of Freemasonry. You know what I mean? I understood what was this system. I seen this wickedness, throughout, like I said, through my sister's, unfortunate situations. You know what I mean? So I understood send them out to to um to die, like taking up space. I can't feed you. You know what I mean? Even not to say all of them had that same, approach. Not everybody had that. I'm not saying that. But if you choose not to do what I say, right, and go out there and where their society was allowed not to do that, and you didn't have that chance to develop and understand the shifting world that was taking place. You see, your parents can only give you certain information in life, right? And you would assume that your parents are giving you the information that's going to help you, advance and propel in society, right? But if your parents are forced to work, right, who are teaching you? So now we have women, right, who are working. The men we don't need, yada, yada, yada. So who's watching over the children now? If we see the results of I don't need a man, and we see what this generation that came about is, right? What is the grandchildren going lifestyle going to be? If we're not watching what this generation deems as acceptable, you already separated mother and father of a whole generation. And you design the system, right? Right? Standing 10 toes down, right? And you initiated them, right? You initiated them into the gangs by, walking the line or, right? Hold on. Oh, man. Uh, visa initiation, right? Okay. So, let me pull this up for you, right? Maybe I don't know what the hell this is. Anyway, um, videos of getting jumped into a gang. Now, this one, if you notice, you have, right, this circle around him, right? You either have walking the line, this was, the known ways. So let me give you something that you might not know, right? Indian church, something about church. Okay, some news. It's my fault. Oh, hold on. What was I looking for? Are you blanking out? See, I be seeing something, and my mind just go. Um, what were we looking for? Um, let me see. We was looking at. Oh. The point within the circle. Uh, right. So if you look right here, right, you understand the point within the circle, right? You see the book up on top. See the point, right? You, the one in the center, right, is supposed to radiate out. But you also get like, a universal beatdown and all of these, whether it be the universal beatdown where you inside the center and building and giving, what's today's degree, right? Over to, this is supposed to be beating you in shape and making you this type of person, right? Now, as the viewers, like I said, some of this when it was coming in to use to toughen up a lot of the youth, I didn't have a problem with it because a lot of dudes were bitch made. You know what I mean? So they need to be toughening it up. But that system, like I said, was broken. So then you would have Bloods and Crips. So say you running around and you unify in a group of people, right? And then just like, this is um Raymond Washington, right? The brother, he goes with the good intentions. Most likely, like I said, with this assistance through these these college people. Excuse me. You know what I mean? The Kappas. So they can spread an information easily right back into their own communities, homes, whatever. So this becomes the staple, right? So now, but remember, they all under the impression of it probably good being a good thing, right? I'm saying individuals within this, right? So they like, yeah, say Raymond Washington. He like, yeah, you're right. You know, all of that. If we make it all one, we won't have this problem. Good-hearted person has this true intention, right? Now, but you're using a system that he might not even know. He could be the scapegoat. So now, all of these other people, these Freemasons, I showed you, well, yeah, in another video I showed you. I'm gonna pull it up later, right? So you have these individuals who will do this, initiating you all, and they can work together because remember, they all have it. They have a grand lodge, so they all know to initiate this, promote this, yada yada yada. Just like you hear with them do with the gay conversations and going to jail and having people do things to, oh yeah, this is what they do, and all of that type of stuff. um to every walk of life, to where you see it in the hip hop, to where it became all around through a whisper, through a constant promotion, through insecurity of certain men, through a woman beating you down, saying, "Oh yeah, oh you must, what you gonna do this with you, has you can't have sex with your man, and only time this is even in the videos you see him. This is how, oh yeah, oh if you walking out, all of a sudden she doing all of this. What was she doing before? So I always promote, man, you better be walking out the door, hanging out every. Don't be the way Oh, I don't have friends. Now you ain't got friends. You became, the new generation is straight feminized, and I'm just telling them how to break out of that. Like, listen, don't be, you know, don't. It's too late though. They already put in this insecurity inside of you. Now, only person who can breathe life into you is is the woman. You know, because you killed off all the fathers. You made all of their imageries and everything fucked up. You know? So nobody is left to tell a story of a system. I say watch the feet to understand. You look even in Chicago, all of that whole movement, all of them. This is why you would know this universal thing. I'm putting it right there. It's not like you don't, pardon me, it's not like you don't see this. All right? You see this 187, but then you see this, right? It's the promotion. And that's the reason why I always say they won't let Snoop die. He's the ritual, the look. It's never denouncing it. He's never once, being grown, said, you know what? I denounce this. He can't. It's a part of his his whole imagery. You just bought Death Row. How you gonna take an image from that? Especially everything that's associated with the name and everything. Whether you get the catalogs of those people, you still got Death Row Records. That alone, putting out an official artist. I don't even have Snoop on it. Right now, he's supposed to be on the hunt. I mean, on. I hate to be promoting this stuff, but it's the facts. You know what I mean? Right now, I'd be on the hunt for a spitter. I don't mean necessarily, in my version. I mean a universal feel, but coming out of the West. That artist, Death Row. My daddy was on Death Row. Avoided it, you know what I mean? Or, you don't want to. I don't want to see female artists on Death Row. Not to say I don't want to see female artists on Death Row, but imagery. We already got enough of these young sisters, embracing that foolishness. So, the penis symbol, once again, right? You see what that is, right? So you understand what is being said. Now this is your rituals, right? Like I said. Oh, now let me go back over here, right? And so we're gonna get into spells, because as you can see, always the words, the spells, and how it radiates out, and how most don't know the words. You know, don't know don't know who these people are. You know what I mean? Don't know, the whitewashing and all of that. They don't understand what they're seeing. So we'll be getting into that part. I don't mean to allude to stuff, but I mentioned it, so it don't even matter. Um, what am I looking for here? Oh, okay. So now you have 120s, right? And like I said, you utilize it, for speaking. Now, for me, one of the best utilizations as far as in a outside of Nas, this is one of the, for me, smoothest uses of it. Right? Not just of that, but right, Paul, let me take myself away real quick. It goes. Now this is Ghostface Killer, Black Jesus lyrics. Raekwon, hit me, hit me, hit me, hit me. I don't wanna hear nothing. Word up. Gotta pay. Yeah, it's like that, right? Blow it, blow this back out. Blow his back out. Big. Right? So goes, yeah, yo. Oh, no, goes, yeah. I just want to clear that up because, it goes, blow his back out, make his shoes work. Just want to make sure I got that in there. Yeah, I mean, hey, yo, this shit be off the knock it. Rock. Wait. This should be off the knock it. It's supposed to be rocket. Whatever, cock block it. Get cats can blow who own this street corner. Foreigner. They rock a Hummer. Navy SEAL top runner. Rhyme this summer. For real. Maritime niggas debating, waiting, style, flowily relating, Fine line. Switch it on you like Venetian blind. The the mission is mine. Fabulous K9 divine. Right? Now, this line right here, right, is L. Right? It goes fine. Hold on, let me bring it up and bring myself back. Let me see if I can actually zone in here. All right. Well, I could probably do a little. So anyway, it goes fine line. Switch it on you like Venetian blinds. The mission is mine. Fabulous. K.I. Divine. King I Divine. Right? Fine line. Switch it on you like Venetian blinds. The mission is mine. Fabulous King I Divine. Had to bring it back for you. Now he's saying he's gonna switch it on you, right? He's gonna take you to another place, right? But he's gonna close out, Venetian blinds just so some people see, some people don't. The mission is mine. This fabulous kid, king, I divine, KID. This fabulous kid. You know what I'm saying? Now, you can go through the rest of this. Hey, but that right there was for me a LS, line. It's a bar, I guess. You know what I mean? Line. You know that one line right there? I fucks with it. Fine line on your like Venetian blinds. The mission is mine. No, fine. Wait. Fine line, switch it on you like Venetian blinds. The mission is mine. Fabulous King I Divine. So then makes you want to go right and start analyzing all he's saying because it's like, whoa, whoa. You know what I mean? That's what the device, the greatness. The greatness. You can't deny that there's a lot of good use for it. The problem is if you're under any of that system, you have been signed up, right, for one of two things. This, you know, this is this, they a part of it, right? So you gotta think, is it this or oh, put this up right here real quick. Hold on. Okay. So then you gotta ask yourself. Hold on, we can actually go. Hold on. All right. I think I've ever seen it. Okay. So let's switch over to here. right? So now all I typed in was, print PHA, rituals, right? And so this is what we're gonna go through, right? So now you see the people, right? I'm just clicking through the video. I mean through the files. You see them all, right? Nuts hang. I mean nuts clipped. You know what I mean? Don't look like it. Sure, they the sentinels. But then no, we have, and mind you, Prince all founders, right? You see them there, and if you think that they not still associated, okay, right? So you see the funerals now. If you looking right here, you will notice that they are doing the stepping routine while in their fezzes, the shrines, the how you say the Moors and all of them as well, So I want you to see them, all of this union, and go to these pictures, just type it in, you know Ahmed Temple 37, right? Understand, that's the name of this, where you can look this picture up. This is from YouTube, Princess 314. Okay, so I mean, I tell you where to go find the picture. So you see what you looking at here, right? These are steppers, YouTube dancers. All right, on YouTube you can go look at it. Right, see them how they making it seem like they sleeping, like they got them blocked out from it, but that's a lie. All right, pardon me. All right, see them all down. Don't know, as far as the youth, everybody didn't know what these people were up to. You know what I mean? A lot of them was put under the bond for them to even, make sure that they children made it through. You know what I mean? They had to be submissive and give to their system. Or they might, wind up, you know, because you know how they always felt that, the man felt the pride through his son. So now when you see TV and all of that, it's the sponsoring of him, passing that heritage and all of that to the daughter. So it was a straight a jack move all around the board. Once you remove the men and you have, like I told you, you got the vagina symbol. You know what I mean? You got the Eastern Stars. Look, you're bringing your Egyptianology. You know what I mean? Understand. Then you got the right here, 32 degree, you know, our Freemasonic family. So, Prince Hall Lodge. All right? So, when you got these people who went out into the streets for whatever reason, they might have been violated, so they had a grudge against, the men or whatever. Some dudes were straight up, certain type of people, so, they could get them bumped off and, you know what I mean? You gotta be careful, how people were being, removed, should we say, right? So we have the books. Hold on, so we got some more people, all right? And if like I said, look at the headwear. Look at the understand, look at these famous people, right? And others that, names that you might not know, or they might not put up there yet. You know, look, you got from Shaq to, oh, you can't see them all, but you can see which my man right here. I'm getting some greenery. Um, Jackson. I don't know all of these people. To be honest with you, I don't be falling in. I don't be falling in. To this aristocratic, blackness. You know what I mean? They, like I said, because they all under that system. They can act like, yeah, they made change, but they contributed to the removal. Trust me, they all practice the same. It's the same speaking and double talks, or whether they used it in politics or whatever the case may be. They're all under this system, right? I remember Jay Z. Remember Jay Z when he was after his situation with Beyonce and he in the interview. As always referred to this, and let's see what we got here. Um, right. So you see, you got your costume. You got them all in it, and so then you misunderstand who controls that system. Who controls it? So you have all of these groups who's under one system, right? And so they can say certain things, imply certain things, and shift society. That's why I always refer to Nas in the Bible, not in the Bible, in Quran, where it warns you was of the whispering and blowing on knots. All right. Hold on, I'm gonna bring up the Sora right now. All right. I don't be knowing this stuff by heart. I know it, but I be reading too much for me to be like, okay, it's right. I'm not one of those people because once you get caught up in that, then you become a utensil because somebody can build your talking points, build one of those systems around it, and attack you with your own information, with half false information, because that's how you shift inside of the information. Say you giving out, remember, so say you giving out lessons. Now in these lessons everybody is supposed to remember this verbatim, but you shift, and nobody knew. Nobody was paying attention to the mix up. So now everybody is speaking different languages. So what, like I said, I'm saying this to the Black Masons as a understanding what you did and how it's still happening. When you not understanding what's the conflict, you had these groups with this information. Say even like New York Bloods, right? Oh, we doing the cleanup. We doing this. We removing these codes and we starting this, right? So with that, you are, because remember now it's an a a universal thing. It's no longer with three O's. It's spelled the regular way, like, so we like over there. So then it becomes in the fold. It went from, oh, we doing our own thing to, oh, wait. So now it's the check in and all of that. So now you under this umbrella. Are the people understanding how they're being controlled? Truly, no. I've been around people. I know they don't know how they're being controlled. I know how they go with the trend. I know. And I know whoever controls the trend, usually through finances, you know, they control the shift. I remember the the women in the gay promotion. Oh, you know the gays all got all of the money. Even when they use Dr. Dre, right? When you look at those references, Dre, and then you see the money and the blowing up, right? So I'm not saying he is. I mean, just to say that you could get um a support because of what that implies. So you could hear a little Nas X say, "Oh no, I'm not," or "I'm gay," or "No, I'm not gay," and you understand what I'm saying? To utilize this for a young thug to make certain references to certain things, and then for Kanye West to do it when he first was coming out. You know what I mean? Like nobody was paying attention to this stuff. I'm always keen for listening, unfortunately, for what I went through in life. You know what I mean? But it made me understand that system. So I learned how to hold that system accountable by the same things it tries to hold us accountable for. One, anything that you did, make sure that you did it alone. Too many sucker ass dudes is already being groomed. You know what I mean? Too many of them was already being groomed. Too many of them were taught to not like you for whatever reason, right? And so they was given this pig Latin and all of that, but they was giving it under this system. There was a new system being set up. The churches were being hijacked. Oh yeah, this is how y'all should be. So they became feminized. Right? Look for some more here. This is right. Keystone. All right. Ancient accepted Scottish right. Right. And this is where you know about Marcus Garvey and all of them as well. Right? So when we go back to Marcus Garvey, you know, that could open a whole new light. Now, hold on, what is this? Trying to see if we can. Right? Like I said, a lot of these people were not known because they was indoctrinated, jumped into usually, you know, those who needed a sense of identity. Like I always been the type of person that I would utilize that system, but not in the same way that the other side was using it. Using those who wanted to be down and you know, building it. Like my thing was is if you built like me, we can do this. But I'm not gonna keep holding somebody down, and I need nobody to hold me down. You see what I'm saying? So I was independent, right? So you have, right, Masonic rituals for the use of most worshipful Prince Hall Grand Lodge free and accepted Masons, right? So you see them in all walks of life shifting you from one system to another while being fooled themselves. Like you have the tools, so you have a once you walk out the door, because remember, all of those people in those gangs and all of those, they didn't know. This is a system that's set up to destroy you, to destroy you. And I'm not only talking to black people. They did it to whites. What do you think? What do you what do you think the whole takeover was, man? What do you think the whole 'cause what do you see the shows? The shows is usually these white women and you know daddy passing the ranks over. So all of that is really through their teachings. On our side, it came from making it rain. So you got all of the money and all of that from sending these dudes out here to engage in that lifestyle and, cash in, but then rewriting history. Once you moved on, you can rewrite history and tell a child anything. You can rewrite and dictate the story any way you want. And as long as you knew that these simp ass niggas, pardon me, but if you knew that these simp ass dudes were going to fold, like you would have them in a certain situation where you know, they would be bound to you. You got them to snitch, stay inside the crib, babysit, all of that. All of the system for them to be in yo, babe, just stay home here, play the game, here, do this, do that. Next thing you know, you now at one point in time, it was beneficial for everybody. But after that time, when that became the norm, when promoting the you better tell, yo, that ain't your crew, you know what I mean? When all of that was got into, the so called good dudes, real, ends, when the sucker ones who ratted and all of that, that's how you see it was a large system because it was in the ear. Oh, you know what I mean? And so they were weak because they were simps anyway. Remember, they said, "Oh, with Freeway say if my kids need diapers and my ribs start to, so it wasn't that was them. They were put into a situation, and so that's why they can go, oh yeah, they can, oh I'm grown up and this. Whereas and they can look at Maya Lansky's and people who died criminals and have no regrets because that's what they really are. They don't come home and say they reformed because they still inside a union of criminals. Die hard. So when you hear that, you automatically know that these people right here was in it for a certain reason. And so they fear. Most of them probably was even bullied to be in that situation to begin with by the people in the neighborhood. Oh, you saw psh, 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 all of that, you know? And so they were whipped in shape already from when they walked out into the streets under that system. And so the destruction happens and the people, go on. They don't realize this whole system is set up, right? Understand the two symbols, right? Understand. This is, you already know, the vagina symbol, and this is the law, right? This is the the law and all of that. The Moors. You know what I mean? The streets. You know? So, if you didn't know the two symbols and you don't know, you know? So, as you see, right? All you got to do is type in Prince or rituals. This is what I was waiting to see. Right? I don't know. You can't see him. Let me see if Oh, that's what it was. This whole time was too close. So, you see Shaq. Right? We already knew Shaq. Well, I would hope y'all knew, since you knew he was Q Dog, but you probably didn't know that, those are the Freemasons. And well, listen, a lot of you don't realize that they're government. So the rats and all of that, that's all under that. They said, like, you see, what's his name? Franklin. He got caught up under that. A system where he was trapped in. Now you get money, but then look, when they pull back, what happened to the communities? So while we give praise to a person, we are overlooking all of the damage, all of this, right? All of this. We're giving praise to that, to where we have to apologize to ourselves and go, yeah, I didn't mean to do, and right? We have to do that. Or for something that they gave us. And at no point in time is there any apology or look at for reparations. You know why? Because they already grab the nuts of these dudes and give them, for whatever of helping, you know, bump off the cattle. Shack police. You think that when you see these rats and all of that, remember, they have to work with them. When you think of the Ku Klux Klan, I tell people all the time, Ku Klux Klan was a Freemasonic movement, right? But let me show you something that you overlook. White people were running around hanging people without a problem. They literally was going in the courthouse and yanking you the hell out of there. Even after certain laws are passed on it, they didn't care. So, how do you know? Because you can see people are still complaining about that now, right? So, you never hear black people doing that. Niggas know better. Pardon me. Black people know better. They know better. Don't do it. You know what I mean? So, um, when you see that, right, you gotta understand that underneath those hoods, best believed it was a black person. The hoods, sure, the distraction, the fear. Oh, listen, the girls, right? Cool. That's boogie woogie. That's scary eerie. That's just promotion to distract you from the reality. Under that hood, there was a black man or woman, most likely a black man, right? Who knew the people who did not want to get there, like the resistors, those, you know what I mean? So, in order for him to be able to tell without they knowing that he told, but he's taking them right to people's houses and all of that. The only way for that and for that person to remain, they had to have a distraction. What was the distraction? Put on some hoods, this Ku Klux Klan stuff, right? They was real anyway. Not to say the Klan ain't real. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is it's true utensil. They don't need it now. So the Klan is, outdated. That was just a utensil, a device. When the churches, it was utilized as a means of plotting and scheming. Remember, we wasn't under that banner. We didn't know none of this stuff yet. We wasn't under the Freemason. We were still trying to break free. This new generation, everybody else is done. It's a wrap. It's not gonna never happen. That's a fact. Everybody now is indoctrinated through woke and all of this. It's a wrap. That's why they needed to invade Africa and all of that. We was godless. We didn't have that in our system. It's a wrap now. Everything that I see now, I just fall back and just put this out there. But it's a wrap. You can see that it's in everything. All anybody who had a chance of being rebellious, they bumped them off with the promise for the women. But there's a system set up already still controlled. Remember, that's just here in certain places and how they operate. You know what I mean? So the system here was this is utilized like that. I mean, it's a universal push. You see the feminist push. You see it. But certain places it has more. I tell the people that's what was the whole thing with the Iraqi war. That was really it. Sending them ladies over there, harassing them people, telling them women, certain things, and then when they was ready to chop they heads off, they always got this push from America to go defend that. That's how it was. If you go look back then and you go look, like I told you, I've been paying attention to this for too long. I've been paying attention too long. You know what I mean? So for me, I look at the articles and everything and I know. I can tell you what it is. I remember sending them over there, you know, telling them, sir, you ain't gotta. And then when they ready to go chop their heads off, here go America. Hope y'all understand, man. We was used. That's in all systems. That's why they had the Salem witch back in the days, I assume. Through spells, using this technology, putting it in their hands, and then the takeover. Why do you think Tupac said Illuminati after, the whole letting them go down with that, with the rape case and all of that? Why do you think? Remember, Pac was making music for the ladies. He was given justification for crack crackhead mamas and still not giving justification for the father. Father in jail, fuck him. Mama a crackhead, prostituting. That I forgive. Cause mama was still there. Daddy got sent to jail. Fuck him. You understand what I'm saying? Fuck him. Oh, you know what white daddy got? Oh, he works all the time. He never spends time. Look, your kids right here. You don't. Oh, they got it too. They got it too. Now you see them whipped in shape. That's what made them the bad guy. Anything. It was, not to say that all of the fucked up shit that people did. You know what I mean? But as far as a unit of the full takeover, yeah, this was the move. This was the move. That's why I tell you I don't watch TV. I be like, nah, man, that shit too feminine, man. Everything got dudes apologizing or fathers being the worst thing on the planet. Every show, if you can watch a TV show today and literally tell me that that's not the theme, the daughter passing the getting it, the father taking out because is either taking them out, the father, right? These I'm saying the white TV shows. The white TV shows is right. The father passing down the the stuff to the daughter because the son is a fuck up, right? Or the daughter just being this, yeah, we passing it. Like the whole theme is all of the shows. You not one show. You got to look at things in totality to understand the trance and the message. So on every show, everything, that's the bombardment, the theme. This is what I was talking about earlier when I was saying comprehension. Methods of evaluating comprehension, language growth consist of analyzing the oral or written answers to questions about stories read to or by students and about visual representation. This is a science. The ability to see if you could take gibberish and make it mean. If if you could take gibberish and make it mean something. That's how you could tell another person's comprehension level. Now, some they don't know what they doing. So there's a system that's already set up to control you. It's already been, you are a test. And if you're not at a certain level of awareness, you playing into that game because you are not aware. Because then you would have to also abandon all of those insecurities that was placed inside of you. They call people like me narcissistic. But I don't say I'm God because I know what God is. I wouldn't want to be under the G. I'm not a government agent. I'm not working. I'm not working for the system. So I don't say that type of stuff. You understand what I'm saying? Because I know, pardon me, right? I know that system. So no, I'll be like, when I see all of that, I go, yeah. That's why, like I said, at a very young age, I knew, yeah, yeah. You understand what I'm saying? And just knew because I had an insight of how it was going from my mom's. You know what I mean? That was all I needed. Like I said, I always been a fast learner. You know what I mean? So always knew stay away from certain shit. Avoid certain people, man, woman. I don't have no insecurity. Just avoid people. You can't beat me in the head. Nothing. I'm too solid. So then they'll go, he's narcissistic. He can't be moved. It's him. It's all about no, no. I know manipulation. So if you come in amongst me with a direction towards something, I'm with you. If you thinking you gonna manipulate me, like okay, guy, you got it wrong. You know, like I said, it's like that. Like you could be cool with a nigga girl, get in this yo. I'm telling you, yo, say you like this and see if he's, you know what I mean? Like they put that type of, I don't have that insecurity. And if I see a person with those type of is, I let them play themselves out. Like yo, nigga, you got that bitch in your That's why I know you can be controlled. You know what I mean? Scared to die. Oh, so there's no heaven. And listen, man, you ask, don't come to me for your moral support with that shit. I don't know, nigga. You ain't getting that. There's none of that there. It's none of that there. Create a heaven that you want. You've been already following white or white Julius Caesar. You might as well keep going. What's the difference now, right? Oh, they taking you into Egypt, but they all beefing. You left with all of the betas. No offense to certain people. I'm not trying to be funny, but you know, you were arguing the talking points outside of your personal concern. You know, the women made it hard for you. You know what I mean? So now you want to mess with other men and man, listen, with no sex Novembers and all type of thirsties and all type of shit that gave these niggas, these dudes insecurities. That's in my opinion. Too much references of, oh yeah, when they go here, they're gonna do this, and you know what I mean? Too much of that. That the insecurities were put inside men, right? So my only security is when I see insecure niggas and how they look, at a person. Be like, yo, what? I'm a solid dude. You know what I mean? Like at no point in time have I ever put myself in any situation for any of that type of labeling to come towards me. I'm solid. You know what I mean? I did enough time, looked at enough magazines for me to be good. So for anybody to tell, oh, yo, nah, that's a lie. They telling you that because that's them. And so they was putting it out there on this indirect thing. But that's them. That's them. That's their style. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's their style. That's their style. You know, a solid person is a solid person. What you are is what you are, in no situation should that ever change. So I could die in jail. That don't mean I need to sleep with a man. I got enough memory. I write books. I can make up stories. Trust me. I can make up my own stories. You can put me in a cell. Oh, listen, and I'll be a okay. All I need though, two things. Two things I definitely need. Right. But one, not necessarily like I wouldn't like I like that would be like to play chess. That could be okay, we'll let you play chess, you know, once a week for like 3 hours. God, I could do it. Now, what I mandatory need is just books. But, you know, um, like novels, and I wouldn't want to do no more research and none of that shit. I know what I know, so like I'm good. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't want to give it. I'm not in there and dealing with people, so it's like it's no. Yo, look at this. Like this is it right here. This videos. And this is it. This is there's no more. Like I'm not. Like spending that energy. Like that. Like every once in a while, I would tell somebody, but there was nothing for you to be solid to offer the information because it's too much of this, too sporadic. You understand what I'm saying? And since nobody has ever said it and was able to give information and show, I'm able to show, pull up, you know what I mean? Give you an understanding of what they're attacking, your comprehension level, right? Let's go back inside this real quick before we slide out of here. Right? So we got the rituals. See, that's pre 1946, right? After rituals displayed the Northern District, in 1945, was the then current Prince Hall working? It would have consisted of a set of, right? So it goes, rituals collection adapted, right? I have studied the first, so right. And he's saying, so they were supposed to have noticed that. So this was the personal where the collapse happened. the Prince Hall book of the Scottish Rite and such a close copy of the secret directory that it included most of its typographical errors. Other errors involve the type settings, misreading of the text, and or his inability to read Hebrew. Also unable to dedicate the Hebrew and Sumerian fonts and type settings, occasionally omitting whole paragraphs. As for its name, the Book of the Scottish Rite borrowed this from Charles T. Monitor, the Book of the Ancient and Accepted Scottish Rite. So, understand, I'm telling you that these lessons that you were getting, right, are the rituals. So that's one part, right? And inside of those, it comes with this, pardon me, um, it comes with this, this prospect of new things. So as you can see through this timeline, as you can see through the timeline of, hold on a minute here, I think that's what it was. No, that wasn't it. Anyway, so mouse. Um, so through this timeline, if you look outside of the timeline and you see the shift of the people and you watch the organizations, what the talking points are, you will understand. I just explained rituals, right? And spells. What are spells? A continuing, you know, repetitive script. So you have to know it verbatim. And the reason why it's mandatory for you to know it verbatim is that's how they can cause the confusion. Because no, that's not like that. Because you're basing it off of the book. And like I said, even when they try to act like they coming out with the Hebrew or the Sumerian information, you could tell when they getting it wrong. Cause me, I went all the way into Samaria. So I understand all of that bullshit with what's his face? Zachariah Sitchin and all of that stuff. That's what this information is talking about. These are the players to that style, that, and so when you see it all in this universal way, it attacked you in all aspects. Remember, even when I showed you, the law and the vagina simpies. You know what I mean? But they all still on to the same mission. The revision of 1946, right? By October 1945, the relations between the two bodies were friendly enough that Martin M. Johnson extended further overtures to the United Supreme Council, he invited them to a meeting in Boston, adding, "There is no hurry about it, but I should very much like to have the meeting in the headquarters of our Supreme Council, we where we have some interesting things which you will like to see." All right, we're gonna do one more after this break. We're gonna do it in 4 minutes. We're gonna take a break. After that, I'm gonna finish up on this because I still got a lot more on it. So, among the interesting things may have been its rich collection of manuscript rituals, which included the 1783 Franken, the Frederick, right, rituals, and other valuable items. I do not know which, if any, of these was shared with the United Supreme Council. But we do know that a relationship was established which resulted in a cooperative revision of the Prince Hall rituals. Now, if you notice, he said he don't even know if they shared them. So understand, go look over towards the Chicago area and all of that, right? Understand these places, right? This one right here would be where they had the meeting at. Let me see. About to take a according to a December. See, now mind you, these are all different rituals. You can go look these up. According to December 1943 letter to Crawford, a joint committee was appointed, including among its members two presidents of outstanding Negro colleges, two lawyers of recognized standing, one businessman who heads an insurance company, and other important business entrepreneur, no, business expertise, and one distinguished physician recognized as the number one colored citizen in his state. And this is in 1949, so we could easily go find out who that is. Right? The work of the committee was completed in 1947, and the committee was changed by these two cooperating supreme councils by the responsibility, or they was charged, of printing the approved text in its revised degrees. Right? Loose which is the 33rd, was agreeably the most knowledgeable student of the northern jurisdiction Scottish Rite rituals amongst his lifetime. From 1944 to 57, he served as chairman of the Committee of the Ritual and Ritualistic Matter. According to the letter written in, Crawford, November, his acknowledged helping Prince Hall Scottish Rite in the preparations of your book of rituals. So they letting you know these white people have always had their hand in it. I'm about to take a break in 20 seconds. All right. Next slight abbreviation of one extension. Mm. Okay, okay. You can see I've been keeping these photos going. I just wanted y'all to understand what I'm saying. It's not a joke. Okay. So, okay, now you need to, I just want y'all to see this part as well. It'd be so much that it just I don't be wanna. Okay, the revised Prince Hall Scottish Rite degree are currently published as the Book of Scottish Rite, right? According to which in introduction, it is the results of a joint undertaking and an essentially an abridgment of the pre 1946 ritual. The Book of the Scottish Rite contains a slight abbreviation of the the pre 1946 edition, with one exception. The second section of the 20th degree, Grand Master of all symbolic lodges, called the Light of Patriotism and Interpolation, right, which was added in 1946. Light of Patriotism. All right. The 33rd degree. The earliest degree, 33rd degree ritual, which can be traced directly to the Scottish Rite, is in the handwriting of the revered Frederick Dochel, whatever, one of the founders of the original Supreme Council of the 33rd degree. The document, which was likely written about 1808, was the basis of subsequently versions of its now in the collection of the Supreme Council. 33, that was really not important. In the 1886, Albert Pike completed his first revision of the 33rd degree ritual, basing his work on the ritual conferred on him in 1857. So the rituals change, right? So don't think that's why me pointing out certain things like, yo, this, that, rituals change. They already use that. So by the time you pointing that out, yo, this Masonic symbol, now they using the serpents and all of this other stuff. So I get into all of that. It's new triggers. It's new triggers. But it's all under the same thing. But remember, they moving you towards spirituality and psychiatry, you need, mental health and all of that stuff. Okay. In 1886, Albert Pike completed his first reversion of the 33rd degree rituals, basing his work on the rituals conferred on him in 1857. In 1870, Pike presented a copy of his version in two volumes, handsomely bound, right? Sovereign Grand Commander of the Supreme Court. The rituals were used until, right, revised the Pike rituals in 1880. Although it still closely followed Pike's constant and structure, right? Rituals continue to be used until it was revised by Johnson in 83. Although minor changes were made to the Johnson rituals, it continued to follow the Pike pattern, although it its content has been drastically altered. Right? So it's the same pattern. Everything is the same. It's just that now you just give it a new face. Prince Hall 33rd. I'm out after this one, all right? So I do not know what rituals were used to confer the 33rd degree in the Prince Hall affiliation prior to 1948. But by that time, the working relations in the northern jurisdictions was a such that Lucid assisted, that's the guy's name, in the revision of that degree. In February 1949, he wrote to Crawford, nothing the galley proofs of the 33rd are on my desk. There are a number of suggestions I wanted to make to clarify the text and to guarantee a little more artistic argument. There is not too much actual typographic errors. Those things are important. Those errors and all of that, trust me, understand. Because remember, this is what they are basing how to identify where it comes from. You need to get this verbatim. So those errors are not errors, if that makes sense. B approved text was published by the book of the 33rd degree AASR. Telltale phrases identified, right? This is why I was just saying that to you, right? And this is how anybody is supposed to identify a certain group of people. What are they, who, and what are they representing, right? So, the approved text was published as, wait, hold on. Oh, yeah. The approved text was published as the book of the 33rd degree AASR. Telltale phrase identifies mix, 1880 reversion of the underlying text. This is how you leave your mark. Like Shakespeare leaving his name in the Bible. Same difference. It's your mark. It's something that you know. That's why you want them errors and not there because it's yours. And so everybody who's going out, they're going out with the deliberate of giving out that misinformation, that error, that typo, or whatever. And that would let you know who's knows, right? Rituals is not a Slavish copy, right? Reversion. It has been abbreviated. It's occasionally paraphrased, and it introduces an occasional interpretation. The quality of the reversion makes it a covering jewel of the United Supreme, as well as the testament of cooperation between the two supreme councils. Right? It is not known if Prince Hall Masons were aware of the 1983 Johnson ritual. It seems safe to assume that the Supreme Council 33rd provided this United Supreme Council with the 1880, right, reversion, but they may have held back the Johnson rituals for the purpose of affording the Prince Hall Mason greater informality with the other jurisdictions. It has been adeptly noted that the Johnson rituals differ substantially from the 33rd conferred in the other supreme councils of the world. You understand what I'm saying? So I hope so. So now, I can end that right there. We got like 9 minutes. Unless you want to go on. Let me just see. Um we got from the limit access of I had the sources document. Yeah, let's go on. We almost let me see. Yeah, we right here at the bottom. All right. Okay. Say from the limited access I have had to source documents, we can summarize the following. It is it is probable that Albert Pike shared early versions of his ritual with Jackson. Those rituals cannot now be found. The rituals printed in the Hiram represent early Pike rituals. So from there, like even if someone, because you'll run into them, nah, we didn't. Inside of them, you can see it. They can catch those who um who don't know, but they keep handing them rituals that they was holding back from them, meaning that their counterparts are dictating their moves by giving them these words, these jewels, these acts, these scripts. And so now they allowed to utilize them, but who gave them to you? Who knows those tricks? They already used them. You late. That's the point that I'm making. It is probably that Albert Pike shared early ritual. Okay, rituals cannot be found. The rituals, pardon me. I have discovered evidence of the the possible reversion and 1920. Now, mind you, what I'm saying is I'm not basing my information off of this. I don't know when he put this out. My information, I've been saying basically the same thing. We just following the same path, but he's working with them. I'm not. You see what I'm saying? He's tracing the rituals like I am. That's what I do. I'm a researcher. So I've been following the rituals as well. Why you think I could break down this history of leading the people in a direction? you know, with certain catchphrases and words. So, in 1945, the United Supreme Council satisfied the Supreme Council 33rd Northern jurisdiction that its rituals were authentic and recognized. The rituals evidence at this time the Book of the Scottish rights were based on the Northern jurisdiction's own Union of 1867 rituals. The current reversion of the 1946 rituals is an abbreviation of the book of I said abbreviation of the book of the Scottish rights and retains several of its typographic and textual errors. I told you that's on purpose. That's how you can identify yours. The current reversion of the 1946 was the product of the Joint Committee of, the Prince Hall Masons and was submitted to review by the highest ranks in office of the Supreme Court Council in the Northern jurisdiction. The current 33rd degree rituals in the United Supreme Councils is based on 1980 version of Pike's 1868 rituals. So, when you see this stuff, I hope y'all understand that one, we are being, put against each other, right? In many ways, like I said, I'm black, so I'm talking, to black people per se. But my message is for all people because it's happening within their communities. Like I say communities, your race or whatever as well. So in every way the attack is happening, look at the imagery, understand what those symbols mean. Look at the context of when you see those symbols in your conversation or in a conversation. And then everything becomes clear. You break the spell. Understand the arts. You ain't got to be in the arts, but understand them. Understand how it works, camera angles, stage setting. Because if you got a setting, you got an imagery. Understand the non positions of a stage, front stage, center stage, rear, left, and you know what I mean? Like, what's it like? It's been a while since I've been on a stage, but there's a set on the stage. There's rules that you're supposed to. Well, I remember when I was learning about drama. You know what I mean? That there were rules and there were things that you just didn't do. Right? So to understand that, I got an understanding. I was in a drama class twice. When in public school, I was to a public school, and then in high school, one of my high schools. Matter of fact, in order for me to get into high school, to get in public school, period, this is what I did. First, I read a poem by Langston Hughes called Crystal Stairs. So this is what I did. This is what I know. So I learned this through experience. Not everything is on that other level. As long as you willing to manipulate, just so happens that the greatest manipulation is convincing somebody that you something, like straight or something like that on camera. So that's that. But there's other manipulations throughout that stage setting. And that's, music or, drama, whatever the case may be. So I'm out of here. Hope this information was valuable to you. You know what I'm saying? Peace. We're gonna let my video rack out. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna watch it. And I'm out of here. Let me light up. Oh, you got this information because it touched on a lot of people. And I hope we understand that the mission is to break the chain, the foolishness.